Welcome to Batman Arkham Knight, a game developed by Rocksteady Studios where you take the role of the Batmobile, a high-tech car with ballistic guns and the strongest armor money can buy. Take control of absolutely no one else as you drive through the streets taking down thugs sent in by Crow and his partner, the Ham Knight.
Get out in the car!
Hi, I'm Lunar, and today I'm looking for a challenge. That's why I'm going to be Batman Arkham Knight with no upgrades. But first, let's go over the rules. Number 1, I cannot obtain any upgrade that requires me to go out of my way to acquire it. This includes purchasing on the skill tree or crafting in-game. Number 2, any upgrades that are unlocked by story progression are fair game for me to use. Number 3, subscribe. If you want to subscribe for me, how about this cute puppy?
He said cute puppies, not ugly bitches!
That's enough for now. Let's get to the challenge. We begin this game with a cremation, as we say goodbye to Jonkler. After 3 games, I personally burnt the clown myself so we can make way for a new villain. But first I'm a little thirsty, so I head over to Polly's Diner after my shift at the GCPD and order a cup of coffee. As I'm waiting, though, a customer comes up and complains that someone is smoking, so I go over and confront the smoker by shooting up the entire diner. We then watch as Crow shows up after experiencing a nice makeover. Wait. What's that?
Did someone mention Scarecrow?
How did you get in my house?
That doesn't matter. Scarecrow is my favorite DC villain. He is pretty underrated and pretty awesome.
Get the hell out of my house. We now take over as Man, heading over to meet up with Jimmy Fallon.
In case you need to reach me, it's going to be a long night.
Sorry, Jimmy, you do have to pay for that. The price is $1.5 billion. I then impersonate Houdini and call Jimmy's daughter Brawl since she did not escape, but instead decided to help me out. I make my way over to save a cop from some thugs getting the intro fight. Playing this game after Origins was a breath of fresh air, getting the groove of the PS5 controls very quickly. Saving the cop twice within the span of 30 seconds, I then call in some backup of my own. The man car. Rocksteady's first attempt at making a drivable car, and yes, it handles like a dream. I chase down some guys in cars shooting at me. Was that a rocket? Yep, luckily I also have rockets, so I blow them up. Non-lethal though, before interrogating the driver. He gives me a present before telling me that Crow is hiding in Chinatown, so I thank him for his information by breaking his wrist. Non-lethal though, I then send over some toxins for Brawl to analyze as I go pay Crow a visit. But come on, this game just started. Of course Crow isn't at the penthouse. Instead we get this tree hugger. She gives me some exposition that every villain is working together to take me down tonight. Oh, and she's immune to the toxin. She then pulls me away with some vines, so I decide to meet her on the ground floor and take her into jail. But not before we meet the drones. I can use the man car remotely to take down the drones and shoot some thugs, non-lethal though, before hopping in the car and taking IV in. I made my way over to the clock tower for a very important meeting with Brawl. She managed to reduce the fear toxin down to its core components, allowing us to track the radiation. But we need some satellites first, so I head over to the movie studio to use the satellite. But Brawl tells me that one isn't enough, so I head over to a second satellite to commandeer it for official man use. Some people don't seem to want to share it though, so I have to take them out. So I take out the thugs and commandeer that satellite for official man use too. I then use the satellite to discover that Crow is making his fear toxin at Gotham's only chemical plant. I know, shocking, right? But Jimmy said he checked there earlier in the night, so I head over to see what's going on. I arrive on scene to find the facility locked down, but before I can enter, a helicopter shows up and blows up the bridge. Jimmy tells everyone to take cover, but I don't need cover. I am the cover. Oh god, oh crap! No, take cover! I enter the facility and watch an entire army leave as I ask my daughter-in-law for a name and she tells me about the Ham Knight. I then save one of the workers and discover 3 corpses before bringing a man car into the chemical plant, gaining access inside. Once inside, I take down a large group of thugs and save another worker. But as I exit the building, the Ham Knight finds me and we enter a boss fight against the Hamcopter. Oh, and about 5 drones. The way I handled this fight is taking out the drones on the ground first, dodging the Hamcopter's attacks and building my missile barrage, dealing a nice chunk of damage. I then just used the Vulcan cannon to deal the rest of the damage and make sure to dodge out of the way of all the Hamcopter's attacks until I blow it up and get the last worker to safety. I then head into the service tunnels, taking down more drones as I make my way into the mixing chamber, ready to stop Crow from making that toxin. But first I have to take down the thugs in this predator encounter, which I managed to do easily. I then walked into the mixing chamber and watched as Crow surrendered. So I do what any rational person would do. Smash his head into the console. But he threatens my daughter-in-law, so I call her to warn her, but I'm too late as she gets kidnapped and Crow escapes. Sailing me into the chamber without many options, I make up the neutralizing agent and start decreasing the blast radius.
Miss me?
Damn it, Jongleur! Yep, Jongleur's back. It seems to be from a buddy cop movie rather than a horror movie this time. We do a little flashback and discover that Jongleur managed to poison 5 people with his blood. Didn't man take the cure in city? Whatever. Cutting back to the prison, I escaped the facility and the explosion was confined to the building itself. So the day is saved. Except that crow is still out there. And so is the Ham Knight. And man is still poisoned.
What about the Oracle?
Okay. Jeez, and I thought Spider-Man had a hard time. I meet up with Jimmy to give him the bad news that Brawl was kidnapped, and we head over to the clock tower where she was last seen. I take out some more thugs and enter the clock tower, having a PTSD flashback of how Brawl won a wheelchair. Jimmy shows up and is very upset, but I show him that this is all my fault as Brawl works for me. And he is peeved. And this man's got balls of steel because his next move is to punch man in the face and break the phone I gave him. Hey, this doesn't mean you don't have to pay for it, Jimmy. I then do some detective work, discovering a way to track down the Ham Knight and find Brawl. I'm just about to continue on the trail when...
Riddle me this.
Looks like the diddler decided to come back. So I have to head over to the orphanage and pick out a new Robin. I mean, safe woman. I arrive on scene and take down the thugs guarding the entrance before entering the orphanage and untying woman from the king chair. Diddler shows up on the wall and calls in some robots. So woman and I take them all out before Diddler shows off his new collar for woman that will explode by dawn. But I don't have time for that as Cogsworth managed to regain access to the bridge control, so I head over there and continue searching for Brawl. So I do some detective work and laugh at a bad driver before finding an SD card that Brawl left me to add to my collection. It seems to be some form of encrypted data, so I get Lucius to work on it since Brawl is otherwise occupied. He discovers quite a few coordinates for the entire militia. Lucius also holds a gun to my head and forces me to upgrade my man car, so I choose the virus.
And the world was never the same again.
I then head back to the island, shooting at a few drones and discover they started shooting. Was that a rocket? I already made this joke. So I take them all out and enter the tunnels, sneaking through till I come across a little room and run into the Ham Knight. He then emotes on me and dips, leaving me with a ton of men, including some guys with swords, guys with armor, and guys with med packs. Luckily, they do have some environmental takedowns to use here, but I do die. And it was to this guy. His name's Jeff, he's an accountant from Metropolis. I then took them all out on my second attempt and moved on, watching the Ham Knight drive away. So I chased after him, blowing up a few cars and knocking him off the road. When I go to interrogate him though, it's just some guy. So I do what any rational person would do. Crush his skull. Apparently, the slight pressure fixes memory issues, and he tells me that the Ham Knight went to see Cobbler. So it looks like I'm also going to go see Cobbler. Oh look, so is Bat Boy, my eldest son. His name is... Really? Censoring... It's a name. Hey, fine. His name is Richard. Oh, come on! Bat Boy here gives me a disruptor. I use it to disable the guns and the ammo crates, allowing me to take out armored thugs without the armed. I sink my way in, take down Cobbler, interrogating him, encountering a few thugs who think it's funny to interrupt. He then emotes on me and dips before Bat Boy comes in and we start cleaning up the room together. I then call up Cogsworth and we agree that I should go to Beetle's airship. I arrive to take everyone out and disable the tower, allowing me to access the airship via roof, but not before grabbing the remote hacking device.
Roll 2, idiots!
This will allow me to hack the drones and turn them against their operators, and I have full control over the tilt of the airship. I head inside, solve some puzzles, and take out some thugs until I find Beetle being held hostage by a large group of men. So I took them all out and saved his life. But I think I forgot to take my meds today, as some of the guys get back up and turn into clowns. God, I hate clowns. But once I come to, I watch the militiamen kidnap Beetle and take him to the other ship. So I gotta find a way to get myself over there. But Lucius holds a gun to my head again and forces me to choose another upgrade for the man car. Remember, these upgrades are forced and thus they are free for me to use, as much as I really hate them. I upgrade the weapons generator this time before finally getting over to the other airship. I take down more men, solve more puzzles, get more exposition, and save Beetle again. I interrogate him a bit, but our conversation is cut short by some fear toxin, so I let him take a good nap. I then head to the front of the airship for a new game show hosted by Jongleur called Pick the Real Crow. I run up and grab the one on the left, but I was wrong and get gassed by the real Crow. Now lying in a pool of sweat, Crow starts monologuing, but he took too long as Jongleur is now taking over my entire body and I go on a rampage, killing everyone in the room and pulling... Where did he get that gun? Calm down, YouTube. It's a fake gun. Crow calls me out for being a brute. So I go to chase him, but the Ham Knight shoots me with some rockets, knocking me out. I awake with a mild concussion and a few broken ribs to a new show, as Crow shows off Brawl in the penthouse. So I rush over there to get her out, but the room is filled with toxin, and... Brawl is killed. Not rightfully ticked off, man decides to go to the tree hugger to counter Crow's toxin. So I head over to GCPD and pick her up, but before I can leave, Johnny Cash tells me about a weird tank, so I follow it closely and scan each side to discover a weakness. Must be my lucky day. These super strong indestructible tanks can be taken out with a well-placed shot in the rear exhaust port. But the Ham Knight is a little salty and sends out more Cobra tanks. I sneak around and take out the tanks from behind, but they all like to group up together whenever I take one out since they know my location. So I have to shoot them and book it as fast as I can. Once I take them all out, I head over to the botanical garden and drop Ivy off for some gardening. She tells me that she can use the tree to counter the toxins, but not on its own. So I give her a Wayne phone, and the billing turns to her account. After that, I ask Cogsworth about the Cogsworth, but he's failing, so I ask him to run analysis on the Ham Knight's forces and send them to the man computer. So I head over to the movie studio, meet up with my son Burb, and keep the death of his wife a secret. I get on the computer, but Cogsworth still can't find that cloudburst, so I tell him to use the man wing, but it seems the Founder's Island is being protected by a rocket launcher. I have to take out a few thugs in a predator encounter, but I get spotted and was shot at.
That has got to be the dumbest death I have ever seen on this entire show. And I kinda love it.
Luckily, on my second attempt, I managed to take them all out and entered the room to lower the shields guarding the missile launcher. Now I can use the man car to blow it up. But it seems we have company. Man decided to jump out and start hitting everyone, allowing the Ham Knight to escape. So I started beating on everyone. I did die here again on round 1 of this fight, but on my second attempt I managed to take them all out and I blew up the rocket launcher, allowing the man wing to fly over the island. I head back to the clock tower and begin searching for the cloudburst when I get a call from the movie studio from Old Man Jenkins. How'd you get this number? He tells me that there's trouble, and if I don't believe him, Nurse Joy's here to prove him right. She tells me she's going to release the Jongleur clones and hangs up on me. So I rush over and find the studio guarded by some of Joy's men. So I take the men out and use AI to copy Joy's voice. But before I can enter the studio, she comes out with more men, emoting on me, then leaving all the men out there for me to fight. I have to knock out everyone else and enter the studio, finding Burb getting his butt handed to him on a silver platter by some thugs. So I join him for dinner and knock out every thug before interrogating one of the thugs to get the location of the infected Jongleurs. He doesn't know though, so I check the man computer and find them. I start this mission by going after Christina Bohr. She's hiding in the haunted house set guarded by a ton of thugs and some minigun brutes. So Burb and I have to take all the thugs down twice to get her. We then kick down the door and Burb knocks Christina out before taking her back to the cell as I head over to the Jongleur Charisma. But on my way I came across a man in a Robin suit tied to a wheelchair. My middle child, who I abandoned.
Jason!
I then cut back to reality as Burb enters the room and we move on to Charisma. He just wants me though, so I enter the room alone and get serenaded by Jongleur with bombs all around the room as Burb sneaks behind Charisma and defuses the bombs. That's 2 down, 1 to go. I then make my way over to the Wild West set of Albert Clown, but it seems to be blocked off, so I use the AI voice changer to tell the guards to open the gate before taking them all out and hitting through. I get more PTSD about Jason, then come across Albert with some thugs of his own. This is pretty much just a regular combat encounter, but the only way I can damage Albert is by performing dual takedowns with Burb. You might have noticed that these missions are going by quickly. Well, if you know nothing about this game, is that these boss fights are very poor. They either require you to use the man car or just last 30 seconds. Burb picks up Albert and we head over to the main room, but it's locked. So I use the voice changer to have some thugs open the gate, but Joy comes out to stop it. Luckily, Burb shows up and tricks into opening the gate, allowing me to do a dual takedown on Joy. We then take down the rest of her thugs, and I pick her up, giving you creeps the real reason why you're watching this.
You actually thought.
Before heading into the main room where to find the other clones are dead? Who could have done this? Jenkins, do you know? Hey, what you got there? But he looks me in the eyes and decides that I should live. Burb also sees my eyes and realizes I'm infected, so he locks me in a cell. But this is all an illusion as I watch another PTSD scene of Jason when Jongleur shoots him. I then snap back to reality and ground Burb, locking him in the cell and taking away his phone privileges. I then head over to check out some earthquakes to find out that Ivy has given away her position by attacking some of the drones. After taking out all the drones, I go check on Ivy and get her to safety, but I feel like I'm forgetting something. Right. The cloudburst. The cloudburst goes off, filling the lower streets of Gotham with fear toxins and shorting out the man car. Ivy goes back in her tree and starts filtering as much toxin as she can while I need to find a way to get my car running again. Luckily, I know exactly who to talk to. Beetle. But it seems I'm not the only one trying to find him, as the Ham Knight sent in some men to kill Beetle. I take them all down before following a trail of fingerprints to find Beetle hiding in the air vents. Kinda sus if you ask me. I ask him for help fixing my car and he gives me a cool blue power cell to keep my car running in the fear toxins. I then protect the plane from more drones as Ivy helps to take them out, but by this point in the game, they send in 40 drones for me to fight, including a few helicopters and missile launchers. I have to be extremely careful as without the armor upgrades for the man car, I will die in just a few hits. I survived this encounter, one hit away from death, before the Ham Knight calls me and challenges me to a 1v1. So I head over to Chinatown, where the Ham Knight is driving the Cloudburst surrounded by 6 Cobra tanks, plus his car which he can use to shoot me harder than the Cobras. Once I got it down to just the Ham Knight and 1 Cobra, they were staying together for a while, so I had to wait for them to separate. The Ham Knight's tank deals a lot of damage if it hits me, so I have to hit and run like hell. Once I take out all 4 coolant lines, I can begin to open fire on the tank using every gun I have access to and take him out. He then thanked me by trying to choke me out, so I started beating on him until he turned into a clown. I then go check on Ivy, only to find her dying. She gets dusted 3 years before Thanos snaps his fingers.
Actually, this one's on me. I accidentally dropped the Infinity Gauntlet while we decorated, and might have accidentally snapped it out of reality, yeah. But in my defense, look at my collection of icons, I got the whole set!
But she did manage to clear the skies of the toxin. I then head over to GCPD to see if they know anything about Crow's location. They don't, but they seem to be getting transmission from Jimmy. I decided to help myself to the rec gun to be able to enter the building. Normally, you would have been able to grab this the moment you entered GCPD in the beginning, but without upgrades I couldn't get it as I had to go out of my way for it. However, now that it is required for me to grab it, it becomes fair game for me to use. I then made my way to Jimmy, finding him in a building filled with militiamen. But I set off the AI voice changer, so I tricked them into opening the shutters and shoot them all. Non-lethal though. I then shot off some fans to take down a ton of men in the middle of a TED Talk.
Would you guys consider jacking off to be a sport?
Before I get the man car down to the lower levels of the building. I find myself in the maintenance tunnels and ask Cogsworth to help me find the blueprints as I continue forward. But it's rude to leave without telling your host. Luckily, he's right here.
I'll rupture your fucking anus with my massive bear cock.
Throwing the entire tunnel and forcing me to drive forward into a few explosives planting on the walls, causing him to crash and then take damage. Cogsworth calls me and tells me that the Ham Knight is locking down the building. The only way for me to leave is to take him out.
This one's not on me, his microphone just shit himself.
This fight is very boring. It consists of me driving through tunnels and blowing up the Ham Knight until his ham car is not able to be driven. I mean, seriously, I don't have much to talk about here, besides the fact that I died twice. But even if you die, the health does not reset. After I blow up his car, he confronts me about insurance and says that I can't hide since he knows I am Bruce. Stalker. I then find myself in the vents, under a few thugs holding Jimmy prisoner. So I jump out using a fear multi-takedown, but I missed the healer and was killed on my first try. I managed to take everyone out and go free Jimmy when the Ham Knight shows up and holds me at gunpoint, revealing that he is...
Cherry surround!
Okay, let's not lie. Who actually got caught off guard by this one?
So is it bad that I never knew until Suicide Squad came out?
Not scientifically possible!
He gets close to me, but he has bad breath, so I hit butt him, smashing the same helmet, so he loses it and becomes the Hood.
He's not the Hood, he can't say no.
He also turned his pistols into a sniper, leading to a stealth boss fight. For this fight, I have to take down the militiaman on ground and get under Jason, grapple up and hit him. I have to do this 4 times, and I do die here quite a few times, but just like the excavator fight, if you die, Jason's health just doesn't reset. Eventually, I managed to get up to him and remove his hood armor, revealing the burb armor before we fall down and I go to hit him, but my son's been through enough, so I offer to help him up and walk out together. But he has other plans. I then untie Jimmy and tells me that Crow is on the roof. The time has come to confront him as we take the elevator up for a meeting. We reach the top, and Jimmy holds Crow at gunpoint. But... Jimmy, point that at Crow! It is revealed that Crow did not kill Bra, but instead he used her to get Jimmy to betray me. But when Crow refuses to free her, Jimmy shoots Crow. Dad, he shot me? No! What the hell, man? Crow then does what any rational person would do. Throw Bra off the building. Luckily, I survived and saved Bra from falling. A ton of drones then surround us, so I call in the man car. Oh, luckily Lucius made a spare. Now we have to find Jimmy. Brawl says she needs to service at the clock tower in order to find him. So I head over there and find the place crawling with thugs trying to destroy the servers that we need. So I take them all out in a stealth encounter, allowing Brawl to use the servers and find Jimmy's IP address. But the GCPD is under attack by the militia. So for the next 15 minutes, I have to take down militia men, drones, and listen to a clown in my head.
Kia, you lack discipline.
I have to take out medics first so they can't revive anyone, but I die twice in this part before realizing that if I hop in the man car, I can use the guns to take them out. Now I gotta head outside, but with the power out, the shutters won't open. So I head out through the vents and take out some more thugs breaking the generator, dying a few more times before turning on the generator and being freed from prison. Now to save the department from the entire militia army. This works the same as the other missions where I have to shoot the drones and not die, which I managed to do on my first try. Final part of this mission is to protect the roof from a few militiamen trying to get in. And of course I die here. Once I save everyone, Brawl calls me and tells me the movie studio is under attack too. I rush in and find that I'm too late as Crow kidnapped Burb, and man is peeved. Crow calls me and gives me an address to meet him face to face for the last time, so I head over there ready to break my rule again. I arrive at an abandoned building where Crow shows up and tells me to remove my belt and get in the truck. Kinky. As I am driven somewhere unknown, I get gassed by Crow and find myself in Crime Alley. I mourn over my parents' death before getting jumped by a ton of clowns, so I start swinging, taking out every clown in the alley and snapping Junkler's neck. Non-lethal though. We then arrive at Arkham Asylum, coming full circle to the first game, so I take the position of Jonkler and get wheeled in on the stretcher. But first he needs my mask off, so he uses my son as leverage and Jimmy Fallon takes off my mask, revealing to the world that Bruce Wayne is a furry. He then injects me with some acid against my will, and I find myself in Jonkler's body, surrounded by a few criminals. So I do what any rational person would do. Hit them with my car. I then shoot everyone with my car and leave the building with no survivors, discovering the nightmarish hellscape of Gotham without man. But Crow is upset I seem to be having too much fun, and doses me again. But this isn't man's fear. It's Jonkler's fear. I find myself in an early 2000s style FPS game where I go through an abandoned church being hunted down by man until... Turns out that Jonkler's afraid of being forgotten, which man used to his advantage, throwing Jonkler in a cell and tossing it into the abyss.
I need you.
Kinky. I then snap back to reality as Crow's about to dose me again, but the hood shows up and frees me. Now free, I grab Crow's hand and inject him with his own toxins, allowing Jimmy enough time to knock him out once and for all. And as we watch the final cutscenes where man turns Crow in before removing his mask and going home for a nice peaceful sleep, we answer the question that yes, I can be Batman Arkham Knight without upgrades.
Don't do anything you might regret, son.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But we're so close to the end! Okay, we're gonna speak on this ish. Man cleans up the town, stopping people like Cobbler, find a way to get his name uncensored, meets Fanboy the Knight, finishes all the digital challenges, and then he goes home to relax in his house. Should I tell about the bomb I left in his house?
Batman Arkham Knight is the final game in Rocksteady's trilogy. It's a beautiful ending to the story of Wayne, but it also leaves the door open for another spin-off and even a possible sequel. Nope, not that one. I do also want to touch on the new design of Crow because oh my gosh, his design is perfect. Especially in the close-ups where you see the cloth as part of his flesh.
Normally this is the part where I say something and be like, hey, it leads into the next thing, but at the time this recorded, I gotta go back to Yo Whitey in like a few minutes, so I'm just gonna let the fans keep guessing.
Oh, what the fuck? If you want to support us and gain some awesome perks, then make sure you check out my Ko-fi. Link in the description below. And while you're down there, why not check out my other social links? Make sure you leave a like and let me know in the comments below what other games you'd like to see me do a challenge run on. This is Lunar Shadows, signing out.
Smear free. It's permaclown. Ooh, tough crowd.